get ready, tune in, unwind. It's the Smoke World Podcast. It's time to talk about what's happening, baby. So run, don't crawl. It's the Smoke World Podcast. It's time to think. So go ahead and get yourself a smooth drink. It's the Smoke World Podcast. Light up your cigar, put your feet up, and don't go too far. So tune in weekly in your car, at home, or on your phone, and listen in the Smoke World Podcast, hosted by Stone.
What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of Smoke World. I'm your host, Stone, so go grab that stick. Go grab a glass, whatever you're drinking. Let's sit back and have the conversation. Speaking of conversation, we're at a lounge, and we're sitting here. It's a few brothers of the leaf. We're sitting here enjoying our smokes. And my man, Big Mike, is in the building. And I said, you know what? Let me turn these mics on. This is the great thing about a podcast. We can turn mics on at any given time because I travel with my shit. That's right. I do travel with my shit. So, Mike, first of all, thank you, sir, because you're sharing some information that I think that's very vital and interesting, that one of your friends that you're going to get into is doing his own thing and the cigar thing. So let me say this first. I'm smoking on the Upman 1844 Nicaraguan AGA Fernandez combination scenario. I'm smoking on that. It's not a bad smoke. Enjoying myself. A little double oak action thanks to Big Mike. Mike, what are you smoking on right now?
I got a San Cristobal here. Great cigar.
Oh, San Cristobal. Can't go wrong.
Always a good favorite to go back to.
Can't go wrong.
Well, a lot of smoke, magnificent flavor.
All right, so I want to visit the fact that you're talking about your friend. I'm going to let you tell folks who your friend is and what he's doing, because it's a very unique situation being in this cigar game. There's a lot of cigar brands, there are a lot of cigar blenders, but there are not a lot of black cigar blenders that actually do what your man is doing. So I'm going to let you take it from there. Exactly. You can share with the folks who you're talking about, what he's doing, and how he's doing it.
I am talking about my friend Jeffrey Pearson. He's the owner of Pearson Jeffrey Cigar and Coffee Lounge. Jeff is a black cigar-owned company. His uniqueness is that he has his own rollers, his own company, the whole 9 yards, and he has coffee business with it as well. Every cigar that he has, he's blending. And all he sells is cigars. And he's got hundreds of cigars, all great taste. And he's a master blender. Now, he started out smoking Cubans. For 10 years, he smoked Cuban cigars. And he met all the planters and all in Cuba, all the blenders, and they educated them on the cigar business. In that process, he became a master blender. But he decided one day that he wanted to open up his own cigar lounge. One of the key factors that he opened up for was the fact that he had heard the horror stories about brothers having to go in different lounges, and and the stories that come with that. We all know, what it is. We live in the United States of America, so we know what it is. And he said, I open this up for the brothers to come here to be able to enjoy the cigar. They ain't gotta sit in silence and watch what they say. They come here, be themselves, but enjoy a good smoke. But he said, because this cigar here that we smoke is a luxury that was not available to us, or they didn't want us to have it.
Interesting.
But we have it, we smoke it, we enjoy it. And that's what makes his shop unique in the aspect of what he does. And as a master blender, he's not like the guys say they're blenders. They'll just go get a cigar and stack that, throw the label on it. He actually sit down. He'll take years to blend a cigar. And he will taste every cigar to get it perfected the way he wanted. And there's been times I always say, why don't you try this here? I said, yeah, it's good. It's good. He said, yeah, but it's not quite ready yet.
Gotcha.
But when he introduced a cigar, it is ready. He got them on all levels. You got mild, you got medium, and you got full. And he's got a lot of full-strength cigars, a lot of medium to full cigars. Great cigar, great atmosphere, and the business is growing. Now, one of the things that he's been pushing is to be able to get other black cigar shops, get his cigars in their shop. So he's on a campaign now to reach out to other black cigar shops around the country and say, hey, I have cigars here. I'm not going to hit you over the head like if you go into a Drew State or something like that, where they want
Right.
you to do 10,000 boxes.
Right, that buy-in.
No, I'm going to put you in an introduction box. I'm going to give you a great price on it. Put it in your shop. I like people smoke it, like it. Then we start doing business in
Gotcha.
order. That's the big campaign that he's on. And as an ambassador of Pierce Jeffrey Cigars, I try to promote it everywhere I go.
I like that. So now, I don't know if you know the answer to this question because you're sharing information. How did he? Okay, you say the only thing he was smoking was the Cubans.
He started out with just straight Cubans.
So was he going to Cuba, or what was the connection? How did that connection come into play?
In his the business that he was in, his farm business, it took him there. It took him to Cuba, it took him to Nicaragua.
But was it cigar related or not cigar related? Just so happened.
Just out of business,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That's what I got, was just out of business. But then he loved the taste of cigars. He enjoyed it, and he went. Jeff's the type person. If he likes something, he ingrains in it. He's in it 100%.
Gotcha.
And he don't do anything half-stepping. Everything he do is with perfection.
Nice.
With perfection. He's serious about what he does.
And he's been doing this for how long now? I mean, 10 plus years, or even more than that, possibly.
Oh, I would say Jeff easily in the cigar game 20 years.
Oh, okay.
The cigar business has been, I think, about 8, 9, 10 years. It's about 8 years. I think about 8 years now.
Now, folks, if you don't know this, I'm gonna say this: James Toney, okay,
James Toney.
Lights Out Tony, the boxer, that guy. He being Brother Pearson Jeffries, he is the one who created the James Toney cigar. So if you haven't had it, look it up. He is the creator. So, going back to the conversation we were having earlier about being able to expose yourself to different lounges and different places, and the fact that this was not intended for us.
Yep.
We're going to spell that out for black folks, for those who don't know. For black folks. So this was a luxury thing that we think about it. You know, we can speak to those who was not economically feasible to smoke cigars. You know, in the past there was always this idea and concept that it was for the well-to-do, those who had money.
And that was the perception, because you saw older white men smoking it in country clubs and in private lounges, which we were not allowed to step in. But, and then if you go back in the slavery days, when they entertained, they gave their guests cigars. The people that was there working, the slaves that worked there, actually gave out cigars to the guests. So naturally, of course, they give cigars out. What's left, they're gonna have a few of them for themselves. You know, especially tobacco growers down in the South. So the opportunity to taste a cigar and they enjoy cigar. Keep in mind, they smoke cigars in Africa. Okay, keep in mind that there. So that's where the origin, I believe, that it comes from as far as in America, black smokers smoking. And we enjoy the cigar. I mean, and like anything, any luxury that's available to them, we want to get it and try it for ourselves.
Absolutely.
So we find out, hey, we can afford it. And listen, on the average price of a cigar being manufactured, $1.50, $2 for a cigar, you know, easily. So we find out it is in our range. He is just the guy that, hey, I'm going to do this for my people. I want to make sure it's a cigar. Now, he is a black-owned cigar lounge. True that. But he is a cigar company open to all.
Yes.
Open to all, because you come to his lounge, everybody coming in. Women, black women, white women, Asian, everything.
So he has a diverse group of individuals who smoke.
And the common denominator is he has great cigars. He has what you need.
And what's interesting, because I have been there several times.
Please do.
Absolutely. Yeah, if we can hear you. Hold on a sec. Hold on.
You don't have to edit it or anything. Did you give the address and everything, bro?
Not yet. We'll get to it.
Okay, well, I will affirm what brother had stated earlier in regards to the cigars. Understand he's brick and mortar, but he has a very good knowledge of the cigar culture. One, tobacco. Two, for somebody who's brick and mortar, I admire his line. You just got to experience. Now, For those that like specific gauges, so on and so forth, you're going to get a 60 by 60 from the rip.
No, let me correct you on that.
Okay.
He has every gauge. From Lancero on.
So I apologize on that. I haven't been up there in about 3, 4, 5 months. Regardless.
Yeah.
But his cigars are good. His je ne sais quoi, his the ambiance of it all. All I'm going to say is, for those that's on the wagon, on the 12 steps, he has a phenomenal array of coffees. Phenomenal. Ethiopian, Colombian, Nicaraguan, what's that? Cameroonian, Hawaiian, Kona.
He's got an array of
His
cigars.
thing is out of
And
control. And however you want to do it on some barista-ish, he'll do it. Yes. So I affirm on that part. But his cigars are phenomenal. Phenomenal.
And he's got a cigar, and not only his cigar, he has some infused cigars that are great. He had a lot of people coming by infused cigars, magnificent cigars. And it's reasonably priced. He's not going to hit you over the head for the price of cigars.
That is accurate. He has levels of cigars for all levels of cigar smokers. He has this green tea joint, Lancero, for the ladies. It's for the ladies that smoke cigars that started off with the sweet-ish. And hold on, let me say it though.
Go ahead.
That's transitioning in their palate to play a little bit on the level of where seasoned cigar smokers. Nothing heavy. It's a transitional type of cigar. Man, that green tea joint, ladies. Lancero, of course, is going to make y'all look pretty. Y'all want to have 60 by 60s and all that. Yeah. Right in your lane. Phenomenal. In fact, he gave me one. No, he gave me one to smoke in the lounge. I smoked it. Mr. Pearson has a phenomenal array, and this is brick and mortar. So, with that being said, Smoke World, support. Can I affirm that? Support brick and mortar. Support brick and mortar. Say la.
Now let me add to what.
Okay, if I can, I'm going to say objection.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to make an objection to one of the statements my brother just made.
Okay.
The fact that he said female, sisters of the leaf. This is a common error that we make in the cigar game, if I must say.
You heard what I said. I didn't say to exclude them. I'm saying for those who
Yes.
are making transition.
So, for whatever reason, whatever you smoke, sister or brother, you smoke. Infused,
I didn't argue that.
no doubt. I'm just going to clarify. The fact that, because I heard this many times, you know, the Groovy Blues and, you know, the Fat Bottom Betties, all these different infused cigars. Number one, infused cigars, let me say this, I mean, my listeners know this, but the infused cigar is the number one selling cigar globally. Okay, globally, not what we smoking, because I'm not going to say I'm not a fan of infused, but I'm not looking to buy infused. But the infused cigar is the most sold cigar globally when it comes to the cigar game. So, now I'm going to tell you my experience. I've been there several times.
Yeah.
So it's a very unique experience at Pearson Jeffries because they're only Pearson Jeffries cigars in the lounge.
Right.
I have never been to a lounge. I only can speak through my experience, and I've been around the world smoking and been in different lounges globally. And the fact that the only thing in the lounge is Pearson Jeffries. There's no George States, there's no Perdomo, there's no AJ Fernandez. That is a testament.
There are some Perdomo, not
There was. He was.
That hasn't been in like 5-6 years.
Now, again, you hear in the background noise, folks. We're here live at the lounge. This is what it was all about. Going live. Where you going? This is what it's all about, being live at the lounge. You're going to hear the background. This is what happens at the lounge. So, he has an array of cigars. The store is filled with his brand. So that's very, very unique. So again, I'm going to pass it back on to my brother Mike. He can explain, he can share, he can give his experience because he's there. He's the ambassador. That's very unique, brother. I can speak only speak for myself. Have never been, whether they have their own brand or not,
Right.
been to a place where the only thing in the inventory is his blends. Now, I wonder what was the mindset, if you know, to thinking, okay, you know what? I'm going to only carry and sell my blends.
Right.
What was the mindset for that? What was the reason? If you know,
Well,
if he shared that
I know
information
Jeff,
with you.
and it is an absolute belief in yourself and what you do. Having the confidence, the necessary training required to do it. Excuse me. That's what it comes down to. And he'll tell you, I don't make a good product. I make a great product. I make a great product. And that's the thing about Jeff. One of the beautiful thing about Jeff and Pierce Jeffrey Cigars is he's giving. There's been many times people come in and sit down and talk to him about business, about cigars. And if he's serious now, one thing about him, Jeff's a no-nonsense guy. You come with some nonsense, he's going to tell you, well, you're not
Cut you
serious.
straight off.
But if you're serious about it, he's going to sit down and tell you. You tell him what your ideas are. He's not going to be judging you on your idea. He's going to tell you, hey, listen, okay, have you thought about this? Maybe you should implement this here. He's going to sit down and tell you about business. This man's ran his own business for 20-something, 30-something years. So he's going to tell you about business, what it takes to be successful, what you got to do. He's going to tell you what may work, what may not work, and let you go. There are several shops that are in the area that set up because they came and sat down and talked to Jeff. Okay, one of them's up in Glen Mills, or up in Kay. She had a conversation with Jeff. Okay, guys around the corner. I think Omar's had a conversation with Jeff. So they all know him and what he does. But he is a very giving guy. Now, we're going back to that cigar with James Toney. That's kind of an interesting story because James Toney was smoking cigars. I think he had a few people try to put cigars together for him, but it wasn't right. Through a friend who came to the lounge, who was a great friend of James Toney, said, hey, they worked together.
James Toney is from what section of Philadelphia?
James Toney, I'm Philadelphia. James Toney is down in Florida, I believe.
Okay.
He lives in California, but I believe Florida.
Okay, I apologize. I thought he was a Philadelphian boxer.
But the point is that the relationship was established. He talked to him. He said, I'll put something together for you. And Jeff took a good while to make it. He knew who James Toney was. He knew what type of cigar he smoked. He knew he needed a full-strength cigar, but that's the type of dude he is. And Jeff built it for him. And let me tell you, it's pepper from the end to the beginning. But it's not just overbearing where it burns your palate. It is a great tobacco. It's smooth, and you enjoy it. All the notes are there, all the flavors, because that's what he focuses on. If it don't have any flavor notes to it, he's not going to put it out. He's not going to put it out. And I watched him smoke a cigar, 2 puffs into it, no, this ain't right, and break it. I've seen him, and he gets bundles at a time for him to test. He don't just test one cigar, he's going to test a bundle, maybe 2 or 3 bundles, to ensure that the consistency is there in the cigar. And if you don't like it, no, that ain't right. He's on the phone talking to his people, saying, hey, listen, this ain't right. I need some more of this here. I need this here. Matter of fact, I want you to pull this tobacco, and let's try that there. So he's a master who knows what he's doing. He can tell you from the stock, from the ground, the soil, all the way up, to put that in the store and sell it. In addition to that, he has an online presence. His online cigars are moving quite well. Now, he's in the process now of opening up a second shop. 2 missions he's on. Open up a second shop in the Philadelphia area. In addition to that, he's also trying to put these cigars in black-owned cigar lounges because he wants them to be successful, wants them to prosper.
Yes.
And what he's looking at is once he starts putting cigars in there, then comes a conversation about their business, how they can grow their business and get it bigger. Because he wants black cigar shops to thrive. It's a big pie. We all gonna make money in it. And that's what it is. So he doesn't have any. It's not a thing where it's a big eye, little you. He's a team player. He's a team player, but he's very serious about what he does. Very serious team player.
If I could depend on what you said, Frat, I'm sorry. Me and this gentleman here is part of the a fraternal order that's not Greek, but those that know. Frat, if I could say this, very shrewd businessman.
Yes.
no nonsense. If you come with yada yada yada, he will definitely check you from the rip. Very good guy. Very good guy. He is very no nonsense. Hold on, I gotta affirm him again. What I mean by no nonsense, he ain't got no time for the effery. I say that, effery. Okay, fuckery. But he's from, I say this, he's from Philadelphia.
Born and raised out the bottom.
Well, he said the bottom, so therefore, if you're a Philadelphian, you know about the bottom. That's West Philly all day, every day.
More or less.
Very, huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, wherever he was born, but where he was raised and got the acumen. Mm-hmm. West Philly all day, every day. Shrewd, bro. Shrewd. You can't come at him incorrect. Now, is it 40 years in business? Can I say 30 or 40 years in business?
You know,
I'm saying as far as his business resume.
30 plus years.
Okay, 30 plus years.
He still does business. He still does.
No, I get it.
He gets
what I'm saying as far as his history.
Yeah.
Can I say, I was saying 40, but we're going to say 30 plus.
He is a very experienced businessman.
Very experienced. You can't come to him incorrect with flamboyant, laissez-faire. No. Now, from my experience with Mr. Pearson, he learns. He may not tell you he learns, but when you hear the conversation that he talks, he learns.
Oh yeah.
He learns the lead. He learns the whole process. Been with individuals that are recognizable names in the tobacco game, and you know that tobacco game is secular and segmented like a mofo. So, in that, he had to make his bones, if I could say that in the Italian tongue. He had to make his bone. Yo, his thing.
I think the way to summarize is, good people know good people.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, yes.
And they know him.
Yes.
And they don't just know him, they don't speed dial. He's on speed dial. And he knows a lot of people in the industry. And that speaks to his coming up in the industry and what he had to do to get it and being a businessman. And one of the things about Jeff is, like, we do a round table.
Mm-hmm. Oh, please talk about that. Please talk about that. Oh my God, yes.
It is a
healthy environment for men.
Let me say this about Jeff. Jeff might be the epitome of listening but not judging. Because he will listen to you.
Yes, he will.
And he'll give you his thoughts on his experience, but he's gonna hear your full story first, and he's gonna give you some pointers. He's gonna tell you what he's gonna suggest some things to you. It's up to you to go from there. But in this round table that we do occasionally, we got one coming up here in April. Well,
what we doing, Smoke World? What we doing? Because you experienced it once. Yeah. That thing. Yeah.
And it's a safe environment.
Safe space.
Where brothers can come sit down. He'll lock the door, shut the shop down, and we just talk whatever comes out, whatever it is.
Hold on, let me add this part. Let's because we got to have a certain demographic that need to understand that. The gentleman that's speaking, for those that's out there, Semper Fi, do or die, Marine, correct?
Hoorah.
I'm Army. Is it his father-in-law? That's my guy. Army, father-in-law.
I think it was Army, yeah.
Yes. Yo. For the vets out there. And we know about safe spaces and battle buddies and what you share with certain individuals, so on and so. Yo. I went to one of them Johns. Hold on. Yeah, I'm on the mic. I'm on the mic.
I know I go and stood down there and turn right there beside the service station.
I'm going to say this for the vets.
Yeah, I got it.
I got to say this for the vets. Safe environment. Yo, had me crying in that joint.
Listen.
Hold on, Mike, I ain't done yet.
Okay.
Had me crying in that joint. Yo, get it out. Get it. Yo, bros. Battle buddies. However we say it. Now, you know, we got individuals that don't know what we talk about in our nomenclature. Yo, come on through. Come on through to one of them, I say symposiums. We got cigars. You bring what you bring. Release. It is, and I'm confirming, and Sarge over here, Marine Corps, he confirms it is a safe environment. The doors be closed at a certain time. You get it out. In Milan, Frack, when we have the symposiums and there's vets there and it's a safe space, yada yada.
Yeah, we've done podcasts, video podcasts with just veterans, and we discussed veteran issues in there, and it was a great session. We just talked about veterans, the needs of veterans. We shared our what we experienced in the military while we're in there. It was easy. About 10, 12 was in there discussing.
Also, first responders can come through too.
Oh, we got all of
go
that.
through that too. Bring your arse.
I was in the Boy
What I
Scouts.
can
I was
tell
in the
you-
Boy Scouts, so
Yeah,
I
well,
come
you
tell.
had
Come on, man, stop
to
it.
deal with something in the Boy Scouts too.
Hey,
Yeah,
watch
we was
yourself.
I was in the Boy
I mean,
Scouts too.
I was a Boy
I was
Scout.
quartermaster of the Boy Scouts.
Eagle Scouts, baby.
They told me that's how I go. I'll never be an Eagle Scout, so you know. But,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. You mean watch yourself.
That's what I just said that. All that.
Now I'm gonna give myself a cheap plug-in. I have had the opportunity and the blessings to have James Tony on the podcast.
Right.
James Tony has been on the podcast, so you can go check that out. But that's a cheap plug. But I'm gonna say I've been to several of those roundtables, and I'm gonna say the fact that it is a safe space. A lot of times, is a book. You know, what was it? Michael Basin, Men Cry in the Dark. Was that him who wrote that?
Oh, and Jason Wilson's book as well. I gotta put that plug in. His book talking about men cry out loud.
Right.
I think
So.
that's the name of it.
You know, while we're on the go ahead.
No, I'm just sharing the fact that I have been to several of those roundtables, and I think it's something that's really needed. Now, we are talking to the brothers of the
Especially
league.
in the black community.
Yes, because we don't like to share, we don't like to seek out help, whether it be mental health. We think, if you go to that place, that there's some type of issue with us. It's just something about the community, and unfortunately, it's a stigma. But we're breaking that, and we got to give a shout out to them for allowing us to have that space, to be able to have that conversation, sit down, be relaxed enough and comfortable enough to have that conversation.
Yes.
So that's all I wanted to add to that. Now I'm gonna let you take it away,
And
bro.
that is a part of his who he is, doing that for the brothers in the community. Now, speaking on the veterans, he has created a cigar for the veterans called the Warrior Class. And we are working on getting it to VFWs and American Legions to get it in there for them so the veterans can enjoy it. So he has that cigar there. It's a big move to push that there. We got two gentlemen that are pushing it. One's a veteran, one's the son of a veteran. And actually both of them are veterans. I'm sorry, both of them are veterans and all. And they're working to push that cigar out to the veterans of the United States of America. And it's a great cigar. Great cigar. Now going back to what John was saying about the women and the Lanceros. He has Lanceros, in there. But one of the things I want to add to that is that when it comes to women, in my experience, because I do, I have a cigar business I do when I go and do events. What I find is that the majority of the infused cigars are often men.
Yes.
Because women show up, they show up with large gauge, full strength cigars. Because they're serious smokers. They show up with their cigar caddies. They got 4 or 5 cigars already in them.
Very knowledgeable too.
And they come to you and say, hey, what do you have? Full strength, medium to full. And they ain't getting one, they're not getting 2, they're buying 3 or 4 at a time.
Yes.
And they sitting there enjoying, they come back and get more. So women are just as serious smokers as men. Make no mistake.
Well, they actually
about
say
it.
women buy more. The boxes.
They do buy more,
They
yes.
buy more cigars
Yes.
than
Yes.
the
Yes.
brothers of the leaf.
Touche. The point I was trying to make, and let's clarify some more. I was speaking in regards to transitional smokers, transitional smokers who are trying to get into it, understand it. They got to go through. They can't come straight from like a Cory when the bull put Mar and he just on a Hoyo de Nicaragua and he's
not a smoker? No, you
and
can't
when
do
the
that
smoker,
to him.
yeah.
You can't do that to him.
Right. So
got to come in with a serious cigar.
with that being said, I was speaking in
Nice, mild.
I was speaking in reference
Most
to
time
when they
Connecticut.
transitioning it out of the sweet cigar realm.
So if I may, a lot of
Hold on. Let me
Sorry.
finish the statement. Transitioning from the sweet cigar realm, which is also, if you have a good teacher,
Correct.
that's how you start them off with.
Correct.
When they making that transition, because their palate is changing. Because we all know who are seasoned cigar smoke, your palate is going to change.
Now, one thing you
Now,
need
hold on. I'm just saying in regards to that particular Lancero.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like that sweet, fat bottom Betty, that type flavor. But it's sweet enough to help you transition. That's all I'm saying.
some.
Correct.
Usually, if you get a Lancero, what you're getting there is all the tastes, all the notes of a cigar. It's
Yes.
just like a Robusta,
Yes.
but longer. You
Of
get
that,
the
but-
pure cigar.
of that blend.
Right. Now, what I say about Jeff, what's unique about when you walk in his shop and you're new there, he's going to ask you, "Are you a smoker?"
That's a true
What do
sign
you
of a great
What do you
tobacconist.
smoke? Okay.
Right.
You come in and say, "Well, when I first walked in the shop," he say, and I saw somebody told me about it. I went there. He told me, I told him, I said, one of my favorite cigars is a Legal Provide number 9. He said, well, he gave me something to try. I tried it. Now, one of my most favorite cigars
Hold on,
from
what you
him,
say? Repeat that cigar again?
Legal provider number
Legal
9.
Provide number 9. I told him
Oh, you
that's
said
what-
legal.
that was
I'm
one of my
sorry,
favorite
I
cigars.
did not understand
That's what I
your,
smoke.
Louisiana.
It has 4 different tobaccos in it. But
Yeah,
go ahead.
and that's what I smoke. He said, listen, I don't have that, but I have something comparable to it. And he gave me a cigar, and I tried to say, hey, this is a great cigar. And we formed a relationship from there, and a magnificent friendship that we have, And when you walk in that shop, like I'm saying, he's gonna find out what you smoke. Okay? If you're a woman coming in to buy a cigar for maybe your husband as a Christmas gift or a type of birthday gift or something like that, or just a gift, he finds out, do you know what he smoked? Well, I know he smokes. Well, how often do he smoke? Okay, he said, how long? Any idea? And then he'll put a cigar down. He might give a variety of cigars. She'll go back, and what we often find is that next time the man walking says, hey, my lady came in and got these cigars for me. It was a great cigar. Next thing you know, they're sitting down, we're having a conversation. We're enjoying the smoke. Okay? And that's one of the key things of what he does.
Yeah, to me that's critical. As a tobacconist, the first thing you ask someone is, are you new?
Throw your credentials out here so that, real talk, this is a subtle credential.
I'm a certified retail tobacconist, which means I know everything about cigars from
Cory.
seed to stick. I've been in the game now almost 20 some years, but a lot of times what I want to find out from someone is, what are you looking to get from the experience? Some people that are brand new want a traditional taste, and I'll start them off with a Connecticut wrap, so on and so forth. A lot of people don't start with, we all start with something infused or whatever.
Aston,
Aston,
White, or some kind of
Aston,
Connecticut.
Or
Whatever they hear on the street, that's a
The
good
hotness.
Yeah, the hotness, right.
Whatever you hear the hotness is. And sometimes people say stuff that like, you sure you want that? You know what I mean? Because it's a great cigar, but I think it'd be lost on you as somebody just starting. But what's critical is the questions. Mike, you said said Jeff, ask maybe 4 or 5 questions before we land at a cigar that might work for somebody. You know what I mean? So I think that's critical, to ask questions of the consumer to find out what they're looking for. Because at the end of the day, it can either make you or break you. It can either make you go get a cigar again, or it can shy you away from smoking.
Allow me to append on what the tobacconist has said.
You sure got a lot of appendage.
No, don't read into it. No
It's gonna
diddy.
turn people.
Pause. No
Quiz
diddy.
at the end of this-
Look,
this course. Go ahead on, brother.
you made a very good point in regards to talking to the customer. That is very, very critical, because I'm gonna add a pen or add on, for those who are academic or not. Those who are trying to get into cigar culture, I'm gonna say culture, they hear the new hotness. They want to go to Open Sex, Cohiba, But you got to crawl before you walk. And if you understand the old adage, the young bull, old bull adage, it's all the same. you got to slow grind in this thing because it's a beautiful thing. You got to just go through the journey. It's almost like life, which we talk about. It's almost like life. You can't be coming in talking about I'm smoking a Hoya de Nicaragua, Antiejo, or whatever it is, and it's your first time experience. I say, in urban tongue, click up with an experienced individual. Yes, you're going to have conversations, so on and so forth, not just on the cigar, but you're going to have conversations. And let that experienced individual, if you choose worthy, guide you through the process. Because there's some nickels out here, man, that rely on Jezebelian ethics and books of Nicolations, for those that know that book. And I have you all out here looking crazy. We ain't trying to do that. That's not the culture.
More so about making money versus
touche.
Grooming someone.
Have you throwing up on the side of the lounge? And no.
It's critical. It's not just a business aspect, and I believe that's why I'm one of the top tobacconists internationally, because my desire is for every human to understand why a cigar is necessary, even if you don't smoke. Right? We celebrate with cigars. We close the day with a cigar because it's something that somebody we can read the obituary and find out that somebody didn't make it yesterday.
Always.
So the fact that we are alive is a reason to smoke. You know, and I tell people all the time, you know, Mike spoke to people who come in and buy cigars for their husband. What I say to women that come buy cigars or, you know, try to buy cigars for their husband, I say, get him a gift card. Allow me to bring him in and grow and develop with him. And women look at me like, but I want to get him, you know, women love to give in such a unique way. They want to give him actual cigars that he can see. And I said, no, in this particular aspect, he will understand when you give him a gift card, because the tobacconist said he doesn't want to get you a bra that's too big or too small. If he came home trying to get you some lingerie or some negligee or a nice everyday bra and it's too big, he trying to say, what you think, I'm that big? Or if he gets you one that's too small, what do you think, I'm too small? We're talking about cigars.
Now we in titties.
But I want them to understand that there's a way to properly hit the mark where a man who understands the culture is happy. He gonna take that gift card, 25, whatever it is, whatever the gift card amount is, and he's going to be able to come home and say, you ain't gonna know no way. You ain't gonna know when he starts naming the cigars. He's not gonna know it no way.
Not at all.
But the fact that he was happy about a gift that you gave to him, but it allows us to build a relationship with the actual smoker. You know what I mean? And it's all about building relationships to me.
And you know, one of the things I picked up from Jeff having going to his lounge, because that's my home lounge. And it's my home, and I got quite a few memberships of different cigar lounges. But that's my home
we noticed
lounge,
that. We noticed that.
you know?
We're going to talk about that later.
One of the things that Jeff does is, you know, when you walk in, it's a man's lounge. Make no mistake about it.
Oh my God!
But don't get me wrong, Mrs. Pearson comes in,
States of masculinity,
and she puts that woman touch to it, so it's comfortable for women.
Mm-hmm.
The chairs have changed now because they know women want to come there and relax. Okay? And the thing, what I learned from Jeff is he told me, look, take this cigar, go home, get in your favorite chair, sit down, get your favorite drink, and just enjoy it. Don't worry, don't think about nothing, just get into the cigar.
Right.
And it'll carry you all kind of places. And it reminds me of my grandfather. When we were young kids, my grandfather would come home from working all day, and my grandfather smoked Tampa Nuggets.
Okay.
And he smoked them out of pipe.
Tampa Nuggets.
He put them in the pipe, cut it off with the rest of the cellophane wrapper, put it back in his pocket, and he smoked it. My grandma used to tell us, and my grandma used to tell us all the time, don't bother your granddad when you out there smoking. But you know, we being me, and I'm leading the pack, inquisitive kids. We go out there. One day we went out there and sat underneath granddaddy. He's sitting there smoking, and he's sitting looking up in the stall, just smoking his pipe. And
Preach your homily, Doc.
So you know, I had to ask. I said, granddaddy, why you smoke cigars? He said, because it relaxed me, and all the troubles of the day are now behind me.
Preach that homily.
And I didn't understand that.
Shut up, Bo.
I didn't understand that initially because I was a child.
Right.
But as I got up
And
and
more
started smoking,
responsibility. Yeah.
man, and I have my one favorite cigar that I get from Pierce Jeffrey called the Cabinet Selection. Anytime I've had a hard day at work, and I keep a bundle of them, I go sit at the house, break out that thing, my favorite drink, whatever that may be, and I just sit back and relax. And before you know it, hours have passed. Total calmness,
Yeah.
pressure's down, I'm relaxed. I do the same thing, I go to the shop. I can go there and sit there and just relax, enjoy myself.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what Pierce Jeffrey brings to the cigar community, especially the black cigar community. A time to come in, sit down, enjoy great smoke that's made by a black man that has not just has a cigar lounge, but has a cigar company, which is rare in itself. Okay, you sit down and relax, great conversation. If you don't want to have a conversation, you can go sit over in the corner, do your own thing and relax. Nobody's going to bother you. You're going to make sure you take care of it. You have all you need.
Touche.
You can bring your own libations in there to enjoy your own drink, whatever that may be. He has excellent coffee. Quite often I go in there, I'm like, yo, what you got under the counter? Or I bring a bottle in there, we'll sit down and enjoy it. And then I say, look, I got to get some of that coffee.
Yeah.
The coffee is magnificent.
Yeah.
I used to get coffee and load it up with cream and sugar. But when I started drinking his coffee,
You don't need that.
you don't need any of
Man,
that.
he got-
I still put a little drop
yeah.
of cream in it, but you don't need that because his coffee is magnificent.
Tobacco
He
and
brew it
coffee
right down
are
the spot for you.
relatives.
You know, and then
Relative, right.
I got to the point where Jeff, this coffee is good. I got to take a bag home. Sell me a bag too. I got bags at the house now for Jeff. I brew my coffee in the morning. Great.
But
Say it again. Say it again. Hold up.
Yes.
Say that again.
kingdom, phylum, class, genus, species. Coffee bean and tobacco leaf are relatives. They're related. When you look at them from a scientific aspect, they're related.
And
So
if
when you're drinking it in its purest form, you're actually getting the answer to the question. The cigar may be the question, and the coffee's the answer. So
That's
Oh,
serious
by the
right
way,
there, boy.
audience,
That's
yeah,
serious.
there's Masons up in
You
here
said
too.
something now,
But
boy.
those that are
Something
listening,
down.
for those that are listening, I say this for the host. He has a legacy. He not there yet, but he got legacy. But we talking this thing here. But go ahead.
And I know some women that are absolute magnificent cigar smokers. And they fall in his shop for the first time. They say, okay, I'm going to see what this is about. And you can't get them to leave.
yeah,
They sit down there and enjoy it. And they come from all over. They sit down there and enjoy that cigar, good conversation, enjoy it.
so from a studied aspect, we can't fight genetics, right? Women's palate are more susceptible to smell, taste, and sound.
Empirical. They're very empirical.
Right?
Yes.
So
yes.
it's like sometimes I wonder, and it's the beauty of it when we sit down with a male smoking a cigar and a female smoking a cigar, we could be smoking the same cigar, and they are able to pick up different nuances from said tobaccos. And I'm like, man, I don't get that. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Quite often, you smoking for effect.
right.
You smoking for effect, you
Right.
know. Now, one of
Are
the
you
uni-
speaking it from the
one-
masculine realm?
Yeah. Now, one of the unique things about Jeff,
Okay.
and it used to bother me when he did it, but I understood after watching him, and started implying it, I understood why. I understood why, and that is, Jeff would cut your cigar, light it for you, but he's got a torch, and he's flicking that torch. He's hitting it, let it go off. Hit it, let it go off. He'll do that about 10, 15 times to get that front toasted real good for you, then he passes it and pull on that bit. He doesn't burn that cigar. He understands and respects the cigar and knows that you don't burn that cigar.
Right.
You just toast that cigar.
Right.
And I learned that from him. You know, and if you really want to get smoked, you have me a box of matches. And I take your time. Don't put that over the flames. And let it just catch through the heat and warm it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Let's go.
something I
Hey,
learned
Frat.
from
Let's
him.
go deeper. If he want to play with the cedar,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
if he want to play with the cedar, based on levels of comprehension and so on and so. Oh yeah,
Now, don't get me
he'll
wrong.
play
There are
with
some
you.
cigars that he like that's outside his blend. Very few, but there are some. Like I say, he's a Cuban connoisseur. He started with Cuban. 10 years of Cuban cigars. All he smoked for 10 years. So he knows the Cuban cigar well. You know,
And-
all them levels, you know?
If I can chime on into that, I was afforded the opportunity to get into some Cuban tobacco and all of that. Like, no disrespect to the heritage, the lineage that is Cuban cigars by way of Tampa, the Fuente family, and all of that. There is a little bit to be desired with certain Cubans. To me, my favorite Cuban cigar is the Partagas Serie D number 4. But at the end of the day, you start talking about Nicaragua, and you got the actual taste right up front. So that charring of a cigar, which is when we turn the tobacco from brown to black, and then you get it going from black to red or orange, and I call that the stokeless light. Right now I'm working with, I'll leave his name out, but I'm working with the president of Tobacco University that's out of New Jersey, working with how to actually put that into a teachable literature, right? Where you actually allowing the air to smoke that cigar for the first 2 or 3 puffs, so that the first time you taste it, it tastes like marshmallow and cream and chocolate, and you get all these different nuances with just smoking the cigar. Like Mike said, he had learned from Jeff that to go ahead and char the cigar, but not to burn it. Telltale sign of smoking a cigar too fast.
Let's reverse that. Not char, toast.
Toast it. Yeah, you toasting it up to, you're changing it from its raw form of being properly curated aged tobacco, which makes it brown, releases the chlorophyll going from green to brown.
Preach, boy.
Right? Now it's brown. Once you turn it from brown to black, you're beginning to adding heating it up, and now you're going to get the tobacco to smoke the way you want it to. Right? So you take them first couple puffs off, and to me, it's like giving it back to the tobacco gods, where you charring it up a little bit.
One of the things that Jeff's going to tell you, if you're a new smoker, he's going to walk you through that process. He's going to say, now, I want you to smoke this cigar, and I want you, cigars broke up in thirds. I want you to try that front end, okay? And his cigars are very complex.
33 and a third.
When you hit that first, you may get some peppers, you're going to get a certain taste to it. Hit that middle, it's another taste. When it comes back to that third, that last third, you usually going to get what was on that foot.
Right.
Okay, and you're going to have a twist to it, and it's going to be magnificent. And that's the complexity of cigars. And that's the true
The beauty of it all. It's the experience. It's the journey, the trajectory.
That taste when you're doing that cigar.
I had one of
It makes it very unique.
I had one of my students who I honor because he decided to come under my tutelage. He said, "How is it a puro, but I'm getting different nuances from the cigar?" And I said, "Well, we're thinking about the tobacco. Puro means it all comes from the same region. Wrapper, binder, filler, all from the same region."
Preach.
I said, but we never thought about it being a 3-year-old tobacco, a 7-year-old tobacco, and a 10-year-old tobacco from the same region can give you a different taste. And then I began to walk him through the complexity and the nuances of how cigars are designed, so on and so forth. So you can get a different taste profile in your first third. If the cigar is 6 inches, the first 2 inches is your first third, 2 inches in the middle is your second third, and the last third, we call it, somebody coined it the numbnessity, down to the very last
Numbnessity,
third.
yeah.
Of when it gets warm and hot and all of that.
Yeah. You're gonna burn your fingers.
You got some people, who I tell people all the time, you're allowed to, they derive at a proper smoking time because the rule of thumb is you take a drag every 60 seconds or a puff of the cigar every 60 seconds. So if we do that in the size of the cigar or the vitola in its totality, then we can quantify how much. Right. And it also, not just that, the construction of the cigar is relative, and not only is the construction of the cigar relative, the keeping of the cigar. If it's over humidified, we had some cigars today.
The bull, yeah.
That's going to somewhat, you can light it, smoke it, sit it down, come back to 2 minutes, and it needs a relight. That's because it's over moist. If you sit the cigar and it just burns by itself, that means it's too dry. So you need somewhere in between where the tobacco can actually, it's giving off those notes. I said that to say, you're going to taste the cigar the way it's supposed to be discovered when it is at that proper balance in between being moist and dry.
Let me
Facts.
jump in here right quick. And
Well, damn, bro. I wanted to say something.
Let me say this here. Jeff just introduced a cigar called the Red Clay. If you are
Repeat the name again.
Red Clay. If you are a medium to full cigar smoker and a coffee level with it, you have got to try this cigar with your favorite coffee. Preferably one of his, of course, with your favorite coffee. It will hit well. It will hit well. I know the host over there. He got some questions. He burning for him.
Actually, I want to make a statement in regards to the original point at hand.
One of them though, Mike. Ray Clay.
Let me say this:
I'm gonna tell you how to get it.
a frats. Now we got two bros that's in the mix. What we're talking right now is what we propagate to the world. We have to continually and perpetually regurgitate this for the audience
Right.
that comes and chimes in on the Smoke World podcast, so on and so forth. And those how many nations Smoke World? 70 countries.
Shout out to
International.
Smoke World, man.
Shout out to Smoke World. Listen what I'm saying. This what we talking is kind of base level
Right.
talk, but we have to continually and perpetually regurgitate. I'm gonna say regurgitate from the academic. Regurgitate for those new viewers who's trying to come in to understand, love this man's platform, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We have to regurgitate those base levels, understandings, and comprehensions to this. I'm not even calling it a game. Culture.
Right. It is a culture.
It is a culture.
It is a culture.
Just like if you get into any fraternal, Greek, Masonic,
Work, career.
thank you. Rick, career, culture that we have to regurgitate and propagate.
Right. Yeah.
Am I good on that tobacconist?
Yeah. You gotta
Advocate for it. That's a
advocate.
very good lobby, whatever.
Yeah.
So those that come in on this podcast was stupendous, which is stupendous. I have to give you affirmations, my brother. For you to understand, most who are long-time listeners understand it. We got to talk to the new bulls. We got to talk about, let me talk Philly talk, the young bulls that's trying to come into this culture, understand the culture, not be in this culture for looking for come-ups.
Right.
You designate what come-ups mean.
Right.
Physical in all aspects, facets, all that. Whether you doing it just to be the in guy, if you into it just to no.
I'll say this.
When you understand this culture, we dealing with real individuals.
I'll say this. I have
Take due notice
I have someone who
and govern yourself accordingly.
come to me saying, "Yo, I just like the way the smoke looks. It looks cool, so on and so forth." And if I may, she's a Caucasian female. She came to me honestly, asking me questions or whatever. She started out with a Juicy Lucy. It was real small and everything. She sent me a picture the other day. She was smoking a Liga number 9 Toro.
Oh, she tripping.
Work had sent her to Chicago. Now we talking about 5 years in.
Oh, okay.
5 years in.
Okay, all right.
She said, I said, well, how did you end up at a Liga number 9? She said, the cigar wasn't giving me enough pepper. It wasn't giving me enough cream. It wasn't never giving me enough smoke. Like, I wanted to smell the perfume of a cigar. And I'm not even going to say my
We saying that cigar culture, that's an anomaly?
anomaly. But she said, I knew I needed to get into cigars because all of my coworkers and my cohort was going out for cigars and drinks when we got out of town, and I was going to my hotel room, and I was missing out on all the opportunities to get in corporately because I was asleep. She said I was sleeping.
She wasn't asleep. Yeah, you had girls rolling with
She's-
you on their time. Girl, you better get on your
She
you
says
better get it.
she put it out to me that she was sleeping on the opportunities.
She better get on her time.
But no, look, she said she was sleeping on the opportunities to gain an edge in her field. She said we had once talked about the golf course. Okay. A lot of even the executives and people who are CEOs and CEOs aren't golf players. But the cigar lounge has somewhat replaced that. She said now I'm able to talk and be in those spaces and not be irritated by the smoke and not care what my hair smells like, because I am now enjoying the same circle and realm that these people who are getting the edge, right, at night, they're getting the edge over some cocktails and single malt whiskey and single barrel bourbon. They're getting the conversations and affirmations that now during the day I can hold you accountable to. She's now managed her way, maneuvered her way, to me, positioned herself into getting into a higher level in her company, but it was through cigars. And she attributed that to me saying, yo, sometimes the cigar gonna change on you. You gonna change on the cigar. Keep loving that particular cigar until you get into something else. And I don't know what she did in between, but the last cigar I ever seen her smoke was a Drew Estate Juicy Lucy, and the picture she sent me was a Liga 9 Toro. And I asked her jokingly, I said, did you finish it? She said, all the way down until I couldn't hold it anymore. So just with me giving those jewels to her, she was able to chart her way, not just in the cigar culture, but in corporate America, in her sector, and she's a Caucasian female, was able to maneuver her way into a position where she's now respected. Now they're looking for her to say, where we smoking tonight, after work, so on and so forth.
Let me say this here. A couple things. One, you guys keep saying the culture, and that's true. But it's also a disservice, because cigars are luxury, and it comes at a certain price. Okay, and don't get me wrong, you get in where you fit in at, and there's great cigars on the low end just as there are great cigars on the high end. I find that the medium level cigars are often your better cigars. Mm-hmm. Make no mistake about it, often your better tasting cigars. Okay, so on that there. The other thing I want to say as it relates to Jeff's shop, and I want to let the audience know where you can find him. If you're in the Philadelphia area, he's at 925 Province Road in Chicane, PA. That's about 20 minutes from the airport. So if you're flying in, you're looking for a great place to sit down and smoke, you got a lot of shops to go to, but come to 925 Province Road. Let them know, hey, I'm in town, I heard the podcast, I want to check you out.
Well, you talk Louisiana, you didn't articulate the property for individuals that want to learn. You say,
He's hating.
Okay,
J-Dub's hating right now. I understand everything you said clearly.
925 Providence Road, Chicane, Pennsylvania.
925 Providence Road, Chicane.
Okay, I'm a country boy I'm a country boy living in this city, unfortunately. But anyway,
it is what it
come
is.
there, get a great cigar. Like I say, it's a unique shop. You're gonna walk in. All his cigars there. He's got one. No matter where you stand, he's got it. No matter what your budget is, he's got it. No matter what your palate is, he's got it.
Yes, he does.
You know, he's got it covered. Okay? And if you're interested in getting your own cigar, a blend.
Hey.
Talk
Smoke
to
World.
him.
Hey.
Talk
Now,
to him.
as we wrap up, I just want to piggyback on what Dub was saying as far as the listeners. Because of this, what we do, this leaf, this thing they call the leaf.
Yes.
The podcast, I've been doing this, 5 years now? Thank God.
easily
Bless 5 years. COVID.
No, I say 6.
No, it's 5 years. It's 5 years.
This is the fifth
COVID.
year here.
Yeah, 5th year.
It started with
Well,
COVID.
it's been 5 years. God bless. The fact that we are able to sit down, and I tell folks this every time on the mic, you know, I'm able to turn this mic on. Again, we're live at the lounge. You got background noise. You got all kind of stuff going on. But I never take for granted the listeners. I thank y'all for listening every time I turn this mic on. I thank y'all for listening. The fact that I know these brothers is because of the leaf. How powerful this leaf is. And folks who listen to say, hey, you guys smoke these cigars. You hear me say this all the time.
It stinks.
Why y'all smoke these cigars? What is this? Right. You know, it stinks, this and that.
Cancer.
Yes, there's so many
Right,
different
we
things.
got that.
We hear all these different things. I understand that, and I respect that. But this is a family.
Yes.
This is a family. These brothers that you're listening to are my family. And it's because of this thing they call the leaf. So, as we wrap up, brothers, I'm going to say I thank y'all.
I love you, bro.
I love y'all. Y'all are
Always
very
glad.
knowledgeable. The folks that are listening, I thank y'all. And this is the blessing of the podcast. This is the reason why I started. You know what I'm saying? This is the reason why I started the podcast. Because the fact
Lord,
that,
Father, take us to the river.
you know, many years ago, I had jobs that flew me around the world. And I would have great people and I would have great conversations. And I'm thinking, man, I can't tell their story like they can tell the story.
Right.
So it was the reason why I said, you know what? I want to start a podcast because I'm able now to sit down with these individuals and let them tell their story in their own words. Me telling you something, okay, I'm just telling you something.
Right.
But they're able to express their feelings, their experience, and I'm able to turn these mics on and get that and capture that all on this podcast. So I'm going to say thank you, brothers. Listeners, I'm going to say thank you. I don't take again. I take
Then watch your mouth.
Watch yourself, bro. Watch yourself. Watch yourself.
Yeah, you're doing too many grips.
And Big Mike. Now we talk about blintz because there are folks listening. Because everybody, no, I'm not gonna say everybody, but there are a lot of conversations about, hey man, I want to start my own cigar brand. Now, what I'm always excited about, enthused, when folks who sit in the lounge, you got some of the most brilliant minds in the lounge. And there are many cigar lounges that sit there, have their customers come through, and brothers and sisters of the leaf come up with great ideas. But those are the ones who do it and the ones who talk about it. Because there are many people who have been guests on podcasts, Smoke World, for example, that talked about something, but they did it.
Right.
And they now actually have a successful brand.
Right.
So the fact that Brother Pierce
Perfect.
has the opportunity for folks to say, you know what, I want to start my own brand. I want to start my own trajectory in doing the cigar business.
Right.
They can reach out to him. Now, I laugh and say Smoke World because people have came to me and say, hey, Stone, you should start a lounge. You know, you start a line. But this may give me something to, you know, rethink.
Absolutely.
To rethink. Because I have some lounges who said if I did it, they would be happy to put
Support it.
the brand inside their lounge.
Right.
So with that being said, we're not going to hold you long. We've been rocking. We've been talking. You've been getting educated. Hold on a second. Stand by. Dubsy with the ball head with the glasses. Stand by.
Let me say, how many countries?
7 countries.
Okay. For the Paruskis, Nastroya. Yes, Smoke World is Yana Manoga Gavriel Paruski. To my Italians,
I'm trying to hold it in.
Millie Don. To my Greek brothers, Eferisto. To my Spanish Espanol brothers,
You see,
gracias por la amistad. Yo, it's a beautiful thing in this thing, boy. I swear to God. For my southern brother, yeah, what it is, boy, yes, sir. Yo, get on this Smoke World podcast, yes. Get on here if you want that real information, that real, you know how we want it.
We're not bridled by
Get on that Spotify, get on that Apple Pay.
Whatever you listen,
Podcast.
He got it. So
Anchor,
what my
whatever you
foreign
use.
speaking brethren. Oh, for the Indians and the Punjabis out there. Shukriya Dhanyavad. Yo, get on this thing. Yeah. Get on this thing. Oh, we speak different languages on this thing too. So if you want to talk all that, we got you. We're going to talk about cigars. We're going to talk about culture. We're going to talk about your hurts, your ills, or that. We're going to get you right. Because the catalyst is this cigar
You
and a
said
good
2
spirit.
Minutes, though, 2 minutes.
As we wrap, now I always
Yes, sir.
this is what I make sure I try to do on every podcast. How can we support? Okay, let's talk about. You can give that address out again.
It's Pierce and
my bad.
Jeffrey. It's Pierce and Jeffrey Cigar and Coffee Lounge at 925 Providence Road in Secane, PA.
Are there any social medias, any websites?
Pierce and Jeffrey Cigars.com.
Roger that. My brother here.
I am the cigar concierge, the _cigar concierge. I am a certified CRT in Wilmington, Delaware, and I will be Delaware's first Master Tobacconist, CMT, under the tutelage and direction of Hirochi Rabanya, the Cuban native.
Nice. Anything? Is there anything? Is there any place? Do you want anybody to follow you, support you, sir, or you just kind of fill in the blanks, guy?
To my Hamburg brothers, from Hamburg, Germany. The bitch for Scheitzer. Bring your tail. Get with this Smoke World podcast. The bitch for Scheitzer. Bring your tail and listen, learn to my Hamburg brothers.
And you can find me, the Taylor Stove, on Instagram. Come on out. I do cigar events. I come out, set up for you, bring the cigars, whatever you want in your backyard, front yard, however you want to do it.
You didn't talk about the Belmont Castle
Well, that's another time.
Okay, all right.
That's another time.
Roger that. Well, listen, folks. You know what? Again, like I said, I don't say this lightly. Thank you for your support. Tell your cousin, your nephew, your nieces, your aunties. We appreciate you. Smoke World Podcast, IG, SmokeWorldPodcast.com is the website. Smoke World Podcast on TikTok. Go there because, like I said, with the lounge we're at tonight, I videotaped it. I didn't say the name. They could become a sponsor. That's right. I'm gangster like that. Smoke World Podcast on TikTok. I did photo and did some video of the lounge we're sitting in tonight. So I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for listening. Peace out. Hey.
It's the Smoke World Podcast.